What's up, everybody? We have
Yeah.
the cleanly shaven man, Eddie G, in the house, which is super exciting. It's always like fun because, in case y'all don't know, Mr. Eddie G of Eddie Gtv does the
For sure.
interviews, does the medias, does the all of it, just in another part of the world. Well, country, Canada still. So, how are you, Mr. Eddie Gtv? Well, it's Eddie G of Eddie Gtv,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
How
yeah.
is it?
I'm definitely doing great. Fucking, it's a long weekend. I said a 4 day weekend, but you can't complain about that, you know?
Nice. So, can you start us off just telling us where you were born? Because it ties into my first question. Real, you don't have to go through it. Just where you were born, like the earliest memories of your life.
Okay. I was born in Brantford, and then I lived in like a small city outside of Brantford, Paris, till I was 7, and then I
All
moved
right,
into Brantford when I was 7.
perfect. So we have small town Ontario as the context for where we start the story. Is to give it to the rest of the
Yeah,
world. So,
get right
welcome
into
to
this.
Bridge the
Don't
Gap.
go on everything.
My name is Holden Stephan Roy, and this is the show where we like to talk to very interesting people such as yourself, walk through the story of your life with excessive detail, and try to extract knowledge nuggets so that we can all better ourselves and also get to know the man behind the Eddie GTV series that's grinding out these interviews, everyone. Grinding it out. So if you want an interview, holla at the man whose Instagram will be popping through and all that. Links will come through on the stream and links in description in the future. But yeah, I do have my token first question I like to ask everybody. It's a little bit of a story, and then when it lands, you can kind of run it in whatever direction you want. And it starts with my girlfriend, and she's washing the dishes, and she's got her phone playing that Black Eyed Peas song, that I got a feeling. Ooh. She's like fucking vibing. She's
Yeah,
dancing. She's doing her thing, washing the dishes. And I was just thinking about
yeah.
this song. And I'm like, yo, it's crazy how this song is now like chores music or exercise music or this stuff you put on when you got to get things done kind of vibe to this song. Because, yo, 10 years ago, this song was that club banger that would come on at 2 in the morning when we was all smashed and everybody was dancing and having a good time to this track. And then 10 years later, same song, but now it's chores music because all the people have turned into people who are more likely to be doing chores than clubbing at that point. Um, so I thought that was nifty, because music evolves over time. All the Cardi B's, all the club music of today, that's all the chores music. It's just chores music. It's all it really
For
is.
sure. For sure it is.
So that got me thinking about our own musical journeys, though. So, I mean, Eddie G's got a mixtape. Eddie G's definitely got a musical journey. All of it's tied into it. And a lot of the times when we answer questions related to our story or our journey, it always starts at like the puberty kind of phase when we attach ourselves to music as identity and we start picking and choosing all these things. But that's not really like where the story really starts. It kind of starts like when you're real young, as early
For sure.
as you can remember. So like I can remember as an example being like 4 or 5 years old. My dad had all these great boxes, the amp, the tape decks, the radios. It was all connected to each other and going to the
Yep.
speakers. He'd be playing these like freaking Led Zeppelin tapes. He would like at nighttime it was like the 90s techno, the MC Marios and stuff. At Christmas time I remember this Christmas music, freaking techno remix thing he'd play. My mom, she had discos and musicals. There was a lot of musicals. But like all of this shit kind of tied into like the soundscape that made up my little world, and all of this shit was still music in my life before I had any control in it. So I was hoping you could take us back to being the youngest ADG you can remember and let us know what it sounded like to be you before you had like real control over the music in your world.
Okay, okay. As far as back, like, yeah, like, when the biggest band that was played in my house when I was younger, my mom and my stepdad's probably favorite band is the Doors.
Okay.
Like that's why still to this day when I hear People Are Strange, I'm just like, man, this song is like just like one of my favorite songs of all time. Um, they were playing the Doors, they're playing the Eagles. just all that CCR, all that, and yeah, like the tape decks. Like my mom like would get pissed off because like when I would start to hear a song on the radio that I like that I would just put actual tape over the top so you can record it, and then and then my mom would come back and try and play these tapes, and she'd be like, it'd be a whole different shit.
She
She'd just
would
be pissed.
like you would like
She'd be
so
pissed.
she would like buy like the actual tape of like the Doors or whatever, and then you would get mad excited and have to get this track down. So you were like dubbing over her actual tapes to get your
Yeah,
shit. Respect,
yeah,
Eddie G.
yeah. She was pissed. But yeah, so but even like back then, like even those tapes, like the you could talk into the speaker a certain way, and set it up on this tape deck that I had that like it would actually record your voice. So I put my voice like doing like the mixtape shit, like talking between songs,
No
and like I
way.
was doing that shit
How
when I
how
was when I was like a little kid, and then
how did you figure that
yeah,
out? Like, so you're like a young Eddie G, and you just figured out how to reverse engineer a speaker into a microphone?
yeah.
That's fucking cool.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a big thing for me, like why like I got into entertainment. I was kind of like already kind of into music, but not like fully like thinking like this is something I want to do. But
Right.
the moment that got me kind of like entertainment, I was 9. And my dad's a tour bus driver, right? So it was March break, and we went down to Branson, Missouri. And for like those who don't know, like that town's like it's a tourist spot. They have a lot of comedy festivals. They have a lot of like just shows, right? It's a very tourist spot. And I actually seen Jeff Foxworthy when I was down there.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah. But my dad said like every show that we went to, I was like standing like at the edge of my seat, just like staring. Like I was I wouldn't talk to him. I would just like be like, hey, I'm like, oh, I want to watch this. And like when I came back, I was like, I had the creative bug.
So basically, you got to go on tour with your dad because your dad was the tour guy that went with all the
Yeah.
bands and shit. So you just got to go to
But
all
no,
these.
it wasn't bands. It was like
Oh,
he had senior citizens. It was
okay.
all it was all comedy shows. It was all kind of
Oh, like the
um
guided tours and shit, like where people.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
It was like that, but he took me down to that one because there was all these different shows and stuff like that, and I got to see comedians. I got to see musicians. I got to see different art people doing different things, and all of those shows, I was just hooked. I was like I have to keep on watching these. So then when I came back, like that was like when I knew like I was like I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do, but I had a creative bug.
Yo, that's such a cool experience. Like, I don't think. I mean, I saw a couple of live things when I was young, but it was more like a Disney on Ice kind of thing, more than it was like
Yeah.
going to like a just all this adult entertainment as a kid. Because it's kind of like when your dad would let you or whoever would let you watch like an action movie and the booby scene would pop up, but you got to look at the boobies that time. It's kind of like getting exposed to the world a bit like that, which is fucking
For
cool.
sure,
So,
for sure.
so you were already like practicing your mixtape game. You're getting yourself on. Were you like interested in other kinds of arts when you were young? Were you like a drawer? Like, were you into that kind of world as well?
Yes. Yeah. I started off with drawing, but I didn't really go too far with it. It wasn't really that good.
Fair enough. Were you What other kinds of stuff was a young Eddie G up to before he gets into like the more high school era of life?
We were like fucking like wild little kids. Like we were like doing I remember like the cop we were fucking around doing some wild shit, and the cop was telling us like, hey, if you guys keep this up like after 12, you can really start getting like serious like things happen, right. And like I was like 10. I was like, shit, we still got time to fuck around. Like like we were like we're car hopping, smoking weed, fucking just doing like dumb shit.
I guess in a small town, you end up getting into some dumb shit a little quicker than you do in Montreal. And well, in
Like,
my Montreal existence, because there's a lot of Montreal existence.
for sure, like back then, like one of the main things we got from car hopping was Canadian Tire money. And I remember we would save that shit up and go buy like basketball nets and shit, and just other
Yeah, that's
like
a
other shit.
hustle.
Yeah, yeah.
I guess most people would just kind of whine a little bit losing Canadian Tire money versus being like really mad about it. That's a fresh hustle.
But like I remember like going in like buying big shit with all Canadian Tire money and just them looking at it, us like as little kids, like where the fuck are you guys get this Canadian Tire money,
So what point do you really start to get into music more as like a fan of it? Like you start having, yo, I like this band or I like this rapper or whoever. Do you remember like some of the like what your like first favorite song was?
Well, I really got into Corn. Corn was my favorite band for a long time. Um, and then I actually bought the Family Values VHS, and I was playing that, and Cube came on, and the song Wicked, because like I already had knew the Corn version, but when Cube came on and did it, I was like, oh, like what's that? That's when I first learned people do versions of other people's songs.
Mm.
Like I didn't know that. Like I didn't know like that was a thing. And then I started listening to more Cube, and then and from there I heard Dre. From there I heard Snoop, and I heard Tupac, and I just started like the whole hip hop journey from there.
So how do you get music at this time in your life? Like, do you have access to the internet? Is it much music? Is it local stores, friends? Like, how do you actually get new music into your world or get up to date on what's popping?
It was much music. The internet wasn't like back then if you actually buy a CD and go to the website for like the band, it would show a couple pictures. Sometimes it would play a song because like that's what the internet was. That was like the late '90s.
So you were
No,
already online in the late '90s.
yeah,
That's fresh. Um, so you're basically out there relying on the more conventional means of it, your
yeah.
friends, like
It was much music. It was my friends. It was um radio. You know, just the normal. Yeah.
and so at this time when you start getting into music like that, are you personally interested in rapping at this point, or is this something that comes later on?
It came later on. Um, I remember I had a friend, Tony Armstrong. Me and him would get drunk, and he would start rapping. And like me, I thought I'd just do something to it, so I'd be like, boom, tsh, boom, boom. Tsh. I'd just help him out with that, right? Like a kind of like a a little small beatbox. And then I remember a friend of his came down. Like both these guys were from Toronto, and his other friend started dropping the beatbox. So then like he's like, "Yo, drop something." So I just thought of something. I said the like one of the lines. They're like, "Oh!" And like it started from there. And from like there, like we like whenever we would be like walking somewhere or we'd be at a party or something like that, we'd like drop a couple lines, and then that's how the whole. And then just start freestyle more.
So this is all going on in high school, or like this is during the
Yeah, this is yeah, like grade 9.
and during the high school phase of your life, what were some of the stuff you were up to? So like, were you so you're freestyling around? Were you involved in performing at any kinds of things, other endeavors that are like super nifty?
Just as far as that, like just like we rap in the hallway, like in the hallways of high school, and people would stop and listen to us. And back then, it wasn't like there was like 3 rappers in my high school.
Hmm.
It isn't like how like rap became like where everybody rapped. It was like there was literally 3 rappers in my high school.
And did y'all like work together? Was it like the three rappers united, or was it more like a
Uh,
competitive vibe?
2 of us did, and the other guy didn't really come around. like when we were freestyling, but we always heard about him rapping.
So basically, there's not a huge like scene or anything popping. Is hip hop like in general popular? And this is Bramford you're in at this point, right?
Yeah, at the time, uh, like DMX was like, I mean, we were all barking and growling at each other and shit like that. Like all of us loved DMX back then. Like our high school was DMX out. Um, yeah, DMX was like the biggest thing at the time. And like from there, like I actually started like having when Napster came around and Winamp, I would start burning like the instrumentals on CDs. And I have friends come over and we would just like take turns like freestyling. But we had kind of like rules of like so whatever my freestyle was, if if the last thing I would end on, the other person would have to go off that.
Right.
So like we just like go in a circle and just like listen to instrumentals.
So basically, you spent a lot of your high school just kind of rapping with your boys.
Rapping, smoking weed, chilling out, you know.
Were you like actually recording at this point, or was it more of a casual hobby?
Um, Probably not a grade 9, but like probably grade 10. I got this I actually spent like $60, and I spent 40 on this program called Hip Hop EJ, where like it would it would come with drum lines, it would come with bass lines, and all you had to do is kind of put three of these things together. You'd be like horns, you know, put the drums, put the bass, and put the horns together, and you have a simple beat, and I would make songs off that shit.
I'm like 90% certain my dad bought this shit, and in high school,
Hip Hop EJ.
I'm 90. I just googled it right now to look. I have memories of making beats on this shit.
Yeah. Yeah, Hip Hop EJ was the very first start. That was like the very first one, and then Cool Edit. Cool Edit was one for the Hip Hop EJ didn't last for long because like after a while you need to like start rapping over the beats because like there's only so much shit on there, right? But Cool Edit was the next one, and then I remember my house was the spot to come over to rap. We were able to smoke weed. We were able to come over and rap but I always have to kick people out at a certain time. My parents be getting rowdy and getting fucking drunk at a certain time, and I'd be like, all right, fucking, they're gonna get crazy, like everybody out.
Right. So you were making beats and rapping in high school off the jump. I don't know if everyone knows that about Eddie G, but that's fucking a pretty interesting start. And honestly, like right away, your skill set has beatboxing actually too. I forgot about that. Beatboxing, rapping, and fucking beat making, and you're not even done high school yet. That's pretty dope, Eddie G.
Yeah, for sure. My very first mixtape that I ever started pushing on the streets was I put that out in 03.
Okay. Is that you're still in high school in 03? I don't actually know how old
Yep.
you are.
Yeah. That was the end of my high school. That was I was just 18.
So you were doing the street mixtape thing in 03 on some beats you made yourself. What were you recording on? Like what tech were you using? Did you have mics or was it all bootleg?
It was those little tiny computer mics that are fucking has a little stand, the mics like that big.
Yeah.
I was recording on that, and then Cool Edit. I just put the beats in. I'd make them on EJ, and then I tried Fruity Loops for a bit. I think my first tape was a little bit of mix of hip hop EJ and Fruity Loops beats. I remember the first time hearing Fruity Loops because those were on Fruity Loops 1, and my buddy's like, "Yo, how are we gonna make real songs when fucking this shit's called Fruity Loops?" Here we are in high school, we're like, "Yo, this shit's called Fruity Loops, and we're gonna make songs with this." I don't know how I feel about this.
That's amazing. I remember thinking it was a goofy name once upon a time myself, but
Yeah,
So do you go from Cool Edit to Fruity Loops, or do you just dabble with it?
Oh, like I'd kind of like make the beats on Fruity Loops and then kind of put them in Cool Edit.
So Cool Edit would like let you mix. What is Cool Edit? Is more of a mixing, mastering, recording software, or
Yeah, it's kind of like a Cubase or
okay,
something like that.
fair enough. I guess you don't really record songs in FL Studio. I haven't done it, so I don't really know. But I guess you know you just kind of make the beats there. Um, fair. That's a good setup that you have going on in like the end of high school. So I guess like, are you performing at this point, or is it just like you put out the mixtape and like you're pushing it? Because
We were still basement rappers, but I was going around trying to burn them and sell them for like $5. Um, but like I was actually on like pretty good hustle for that. I probably sold my first one maybe 50, 60 copies.
it's not bad at
Just like
all.
in high school. But I wasn't performing. I was kind of late on performing. Um, I think I already had like my second tape out when I started performing.
So so what happens after you finish high school? Are you like at
Uh,
this point dedicated to music, or do you have other ambitions?
uh, yeah, I was like, I was selling weed, a lot of it, and I was just having fun. It was like I just moved out from my parents' house right after high school. You know how it is when you first get your freedom. You're wilding out, and I was like, I went and got like a pretty good paying job at the time. It was good for that moment, and I was selling a lot of weed, so I was like, yo, I'm smoking weed, like fucking big blunts and shit all the time, like just bottles of whiskey like crazy. And then I had a situation there with like the roommates, and they kind of like both kind of fucked me over. I had one fuck me over, and then I had another roommate come in and fuck me over. So when I moved downtown Brantford, because I was in West Brant, um, like right after I moved there, I got a raise at work, so then I got more money. So then I went out and got went out and got a drum machine, went out and got like an actual real mic, and then like that's when like I kind of like really kind of started taking shit serious.
So you were already doing the home studio thing from like the mid 2000s.
Yeah, like for you're saying in high school, I was doing pretty good. Like I had a really good like kind of start to the whole thing. And then when I moved out in the first place I moved in, I kind of like backtracked. I kind of just partied too much. Kind of just like I was being wild.
To be
Just moving
fair,
out from
you're
home.
backtracking from where, okay, your backtracking is still like more impressive than like a lot of people are doing at 18. I'm just gonna throw it out there, or 19, or whenever
Okay.
you finish in Ontario. Like it's still like I dropped a mixtape, sold it, got a job, doing my thing on my grind. Oh, but I was young and partied a lot while I was like just got my freedom. I mean, that's probably one of the nicest backtracks, all things considered. And then I moved into the next place and cop gear and got serious. I'm like, yo, Eddie G, like that's a pretty good run, stills.
For sure, for sure. And like that spot ended up being like right downtown, so like it was ended up becoming more of a party spot, but I was being more serious there. So it was like I just turned up both. I just turned up the party and I turned up like how much I was focused on the music. That's kind of like doing a lot at the time.
So were you like aimed at like, so you would produce your own beats and then rap on them, or what
At,
exactly were you doing at that point?
at that point, I kind of messed around with the beats and stuff like that. I couldn't really figure out like how to make like them as clean as I wanted, or like I couldn't get the right bass line, or I couldn't get like I was having a hard time like finishing beats. So another friend of mine was I just started doing Richie Dolo. You should definitely have him on the show. He's one of the best graphic guys around.
I'd love
But
to. Anytime.
but like so like he had started downloading beats offline and meeting producers and shit online and getting beats. So like me like I actually contacted this uh I forget what sites they were on. I think it might have been like SoundCloud or something like that. Like I was just going through beats, and I found this guy Proverbs from Rhode Island, and I got a hold of him. I told him I'm like, yo, I really like some of these beats, and like he's like, yeah, man, just rap over them and put out the songs. He's like, I don't care. I'm like, he's like, free beats. I'm like, all right, sweet. So so like yeah, like oh backtrack on that a little bit. I think when I first moved into that new place, I actually started doing my YouTube. I put some of my old shit on YouTube, and it was doing all right. But then like when I first met up with like the other producer, and I fucked with him, and I did a song with him. That was like my like the views just hit way bigger, and I was like from then on, I pretty much didn't go back to making my own beats.
Right. I mean, it makes sense if you can find a producer who can get what you want out of it and is happy to help work with you and said a good magic word that makes the arrangement much better, the free word. Then,
Yeah,
but that's an amazing thing of how it works. I mean, to this day, that tactic of approaching a producer right and giving them some love yields great results to any rapper I've ever talked to who has ever employed that tactic. Like, just
for sure.
timeless. Um, so you have your producer, you have the mic in your room, kind of thing, is what I'm understanding. But do you still go to
Well, yeah,
this?
at that second place, it was a one bedroom apartment. So like I had the mic set up in the living room, and yeah, it was a pretty big place for a one bedroom apartment. Um, I had the mic, I had the home, everything set up in the living room. Um, yeah,
So you recorded it all at home, and did you deal with the mixing and all that stuff?
yeah, yeah. Did all the mixing myself. That's why you can kind of tell on some of them.
I was listening to it, and my thoughts were, yeah, it sounds like that time when people were getting into home studios, and the quality
Oh, for sure,
threshold was in a different place.
for sure.
But
For my whole catalog, you can tell the difference of like different like when you like when for me listening to different songs, like as soon as I hear like how my voice sounds, I'm like, okay, I know exactly when that was from.
I mean, to me, it's like it doesn't sound bad. It sounds like being on the grind and shit. It's what it sounds like. Like it's a good sound.
For
Um,
sure.
and you got into music videos and stuff also, right? Because it wasn't just
Yeah.
like. So were you doing like me? Were you doing your own music videos off the jump, or how did you get involved in that?
Me and Richie Dolo were working together, and all our old music videos at the time, um, like all his music videos were shot by me, and all my music videos were shot by him. Like we just carry the camera around, and then we would kind of edit together.
So basically, all of the early Eddie G universe is a DIY endeavor of like how did you figure all this out? How did you like learn all
Really,
this stuff?
for the video stuff, he was way ahead of me. He was teaching me. He was like, hey, when you film me, do this, do that, and he was kind of like really kind of ahead of the game. I gotta give him big credit on that because but then from there I learned a bunch of shit as well. Like after that, but he was kind of like the first one, kind of like okay, like here's what we do. He was the first one that got me on YouTube.
So you guys are basically putting out the music videos. You're making the mixtapes, or you're creating this whole vibe, and
Yeah.
are you like integrating into the local scene at this point, or is it more of just an internet grind?
Just a internet grind with me and him, and then we just being out, like being in a small city, and then like we started hearing about like other people, and then uh probably like shortly actually probably maybe right around when I first started doing like the videos, like maybe my first couple videos were out. Um, I met Callum Clark. He's one of the sound engineers, like a lot of shows around here. Like he'd run the boards, and I was drunk at his house and we were freestyling because he had a band as well. He has a metal band, yo, like trying to like freestyle with the metal band going, like you have to rap so loud. Like, and it was crazy, but it was a good time. And then like I was telling him that night that I'm like, hey, I'm actually thinking about um doing shows because like his band had been doing shows, and he was doing all the sound shit for different shows. And then he introduced me to a promoter. Um, Maybe a month later, I was on a show.
What was that like? Tell us about the first Eddie G show.
Oh man, like so had I planned that, and then a week after that, Dolo had told me that he had got his first show. His first show was out in Hamilton. My first show was out in Brantford. So but his was like a week before. So I went out there with him, and he had rapped over his tracks, like you know how a lot of rappers do now.
Yep. Yep.
Like, it
Yep.
was, like, yeah. So I thought, okay, my shit should, that's what we do, right? I didn't know, right? So then like I came to my show, and then I bring my shit, and then Callum's like, yo, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, what? He's like, yo, you're supposed to bring just the beats. And I was like, oh shit. So then, like I had to rush home and like get all the beats, and then like when I came back, some of the beats weren't working, but some of the beats some of the songs that I didn't plan on performing were on there. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do this song. I'm like, like this is my first performance. Shit's just fucking not working out. Like because sound check went horrible. Like it sounded like horrible when I was rapping over the shit, right? So I get back and I get him the beats, and then one of my other friends at the time, the Wiz Kid, he was telling me, he's like, hey, because he had done shows prior to that, and he told me, he was like, uh, get through the first song, like remember how that first song goes, and just kill that first song, and then when you hear the crowd give you energy, it's gonna like just bring up all the other shit, and you're gonna kill it.
Right.
And I was like, all right. So I went in there, and like right before I went on stage, and I was like, my heart's like, I'm like, I'm like nervous, but as soon as my music started, as soon as I heard my beat start, all that went away, and I just killed it. I just killed that first song. And I just made sure I focused, killed on that first song, and then when I finished that first song, the crowd was like, oh, and I was like, it was on, you know.
So then basically you're now in the early 2010s of performing
Yeah.
beatboxing, former producer, videographer on
Oh,
YouTube.
I didn't like I wasn't very good at the beatbox. Like I was just kind of like do like a
Okay.
basic beatbox to kind of like just like something to rap over.
Right, right. Okay, but still a lot of other cool stuff going on in your life that
For
you're
sure.
banging out. And so how does that like early music grind work out? Like how do you promote yourself? Like what's it like? Cause keep in mind I'm in Montreal, so our
Yeah.
realities, and I start rapping in 2012. So everything about my grind, it's in Montreal. Like it's incomparable to what you would have had to have had experience with. So sometimes people like me will come across people like you on the internet, but not have the whole context of what your struggle may be versus mine.
For sure.
That's why the show's called Bridge the Gap and all. So if
For
you
sure.
could just kind of break down what it's like to be an MC coming into the scene and actually how you have to deal with it being in a small town in Ontario. And I don't mean to like call it super small, but like relative to Montreal.
Well, like show to the high cats at the time. They had met a couple of us from Dole come out and doing that show, and they had really started messing with some of the Brantford rappers, and they're from Hamilton. Hamilton's just like it's quite a bit bigger. It's the next city over, pretty much. Um, so yeah, like the high cats had started doing like some of the stuff with us, and then we started going out to some of the shows. Then I met some of the rappers, and I think that around that time is when I started Eddie Gtv.
So what led to the why did you start doing Eddie Gtv?
I remember I was watching a lot of interviews, like I was studying the craft, right? So like I want to become a better just everything, right? So like I'd watch like Nas interviews, I'd watch RZA interviews, I'd watch all these different like interviews of people that I was fans of, right? And then I started becoming fans of some of the people doing the interviews. And then I was like, yo, like this right here, like the interview platform, it gives you so much more of a chance to become a fan of somebody, because like you're hearing what they're actually it's shit like the song can't tell you, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
It, you know what I'm saying? Like
In this
so
case,
like
I kind of get exactly what you mean. I get to hear about the people a lot. But yeah, I get it.
so I'm watching this, and then like I'm at a show one day, and I'm looking around. I'm like, all the different artists that were on that show, none of them had ever had an interview. And I was like, and then I think Be Real has started doing the Smoke Box, I think, and Snoop Dogg has started doing the GGN.
Right.
Like those two had started, and um, I was like, yo, if Snoop's doing this shit right now, because like this is before rappers were interviewing rappers. Now it became a fucking huge thing, right? But like I'm like, if Snoop's doing this like, and nobody else is really doing this right now, I'm like, this is going to be something. So I was like, and I also told you like none of the rappers around me had interviews and stuff like that. And I was like, what if I give all these guys like their first interview, and like it gives people on like the fans like a chance, like because like I was like, some of these guys like when you listen to their music, like people are like way different. Like some of those people that like rap about like the I'll fucking kill your mother and all that shit, like they're nice guys, you
Yeah,
know,
they are.
like you have an interview with them, and like you're like, oh man, this guy's a fucking cool guy, like, but like, you know.
Or like they're really polite, or like they're really like well mannered, and they don't even really cuss or anything. And you're like, bro, your
Yeah,
bars are like serious. Yeah. But
for sure. But then like yeah, so then I started that, and then after I kind of interviewed like maybe like 10 to 12 people, like the snowball effect had happened. Like tons of rappers were just messaging me like, oh, they want to be on the show, and then it just started from there.
so when was it that you started? Like, what year was the inception of Eddie Gtv?
That was the end of 2012.
Damn, you're like way ahead of the curve on this. You're like the kinds of guys that built the kinds of things that turned into the kinds of things that I ended up studying that led me to here.
Oh, and to backtrack on the story a little bit, like for the shows, like I was just talking with somebody about this recently. I want to bring this up, like so for after I started doing shows, and I met James, the promoter that put me on that show. So when he would do other shows, and like somebody would cancel like last minute, he'd just call me up and be like, "Hey, do you want to be on the show? You can get a ride with us, and we'll go to the city and be on the show." I'm like, "Sure, yeah." You know, it happened quite often. Like maybe like every other weekend, like somebody would cancel on the show, and he'd be like, "Hey, boom, like you want the spot?" And for me, I got
Yeah,
telling a lot of rappers.
that's a big one.
Yeah, for me, like telling like a lot of rappers, like rapping in other cities when people don't know you. Like the only people that knew me there were the sound guy Callum, and then the promoter James. Nobody else like knew who I was. So if I went up and rapped and got a reaction, I knew it was because I was good. If I didn't get a reaction, I knew it because I wasn't good.
Okay.
Because nobody else knew me there. Like they have no reason to kind of be like, woo,
So
like
so
they're like, who
so
the fuck
that's
is this guy?
interesting too, because so you're saying that in a small town, everybody knows you, so it's hard to actually know if you're good.
Yeah.
Where that's different than
So
Montreal, where trust
so
every
so
bar
so,
is like nobody knows you.
so like for me like when I'd rap out of town, like yeah, and I'd get like a good reaction, I'd be like, oh man, I'd be on fire. Like I'd go home back home and be like, yeah, I'm the fucking man. Because like I'm like nobody else knew me out there, so they have no reason to kind of like give me props if I'm not good.
But what's also super nifty about what you said, that's which is true, but what's also super nifty is it shows the power of saying yes, right? So all those rappers that chose not to go to that show in that moment said no, for whatever reason. legitimate.
Yeah.
It's not my place. But you say yes, because that sounds like this was happening every 2 weeks, and that meant that you needed to know, okay, I got to be available for this, or maybe you had some other plans, whatever. This shit would pop up, you would say yes, and because you did that, you got more opportunities, and that's a
For
good
sure.
knowledge nugget that came out of that, in my opinion.
And for sure, like some of those shows, I was rapping for like 10 people, but like fucking some of the like, I remember one of the shows doing that. I was like, there were like 400 people at that spot,
But even
and I was
like,
like, yeah, I'm like, I'm rapping here. I'm like, is somebody canceling this shit? All right. Well,
so I can say that rapping for 10 people makes it a lot easier to talk to a camera with no people.
for
Like,
sure.
you learn how to perform to nobody. Is the facts of it.
Yeah.
I've done my fair share of 10 peoples, but like COVID time came, and I got to perform at Fafoons in Montreal, beautiful fucking venue. My whole life I wanted to perform. There were fucking 7 people in the whole room, dude, because of restrictions, and we
Yeah.
streamed it. But like, yo, that 10 people shit, you know what to do now. You're used to it,
Yeah.
so it's a good grind that you got. Plus,
I remember. I remember like still to shout out to Chris Forsman. I remember like the first time he seen me perform was one of those joints. Like it was like like 5 people left, and he was one of them. And he's become like like a lifetime supporter.
mm,
Like he supported me for like ever. So
so
shout out to him. The first time he seen me was like one of those joints where like nobody was there.
that's another big point. The people you meet at the 10-person shows are the most hardcore people you're going to meet, especially the
Right?
fans. Not like the
For
friends and
sure.
affiliates, but like
Yeah.
the fans.
Dan? For sure.
Shit, those people are like, yo,
Oh man.
you're like
Shout out
really
to them.
making
Shout out to like
justifications to go into shit, you know?
shout out to them, man, because like a lot of times, like they'll be sharing the interviews, they'll be doing other things, and just supporting the brand, buying the t-shirts. You know,
Yeah, shout out the fans, man. They're like, honestly, without like fans, is really psychologically not an easy thing to pursue. With fans, you feel like all kinds of motivation and want to keep going and stuff.
for
Not to
sure.
say that it's not a rewarding process, but let's say there was nobody watching this live and we were doing this just recording a call. The energy's not the same. But because it's live and there's people there, the energy's just better. Like I don't know how else to put it. I did the version where it was like you get it with the Instagram lives and shit. Like it's got an
Yeah,
energy to it when there's people there, and it's more of like a performative element that comes through naturally. Where I find like when we were doing it in person, just in the room, like it wasn't the same. We were just talking to each other. It wasn't like a performance. I like it better like this.
actually, I actually really like both kinds because like with the recording it and not doing it live, and just kind of like recording it and then having the content and then putting it out, you can kind of like really kind of like um almost like promote it as like you can have like almost like your post of it be almost like a little commercial for it. It can say like all the different things that are in it. Um, you can kind of promote it differently and like kind of know what it is. Like if you have like this video that nobody's seen, and like you can kind of do different things with it. But then like the live is like people are watching us right now. So like both of them have like a you know their pros and their cons.
So so when you started doing the interviews, would you go to people's houses? Would they come to the Eddie G crib? Like, how did you like pull this off at the beginning of it?
Okay, so like my first couple ones were all at the crib. We get the I went and got a camera, and had the tripod, and we just do them at the house. And then somebody was like, "Hey, I'm doing a show tonight." So, another rapper was coming in from out of town, and I want to get the interview, but they didn't have time to come over to the house. They were just going to the show. So I was like, all right, well, I'll just bring the camera to the show, and then we'll do the interview at the side of the building. And that's a lot of those interviews went.
So you So back then, did you end up interviewing anybody that ended up like becoming somebody like super fucking cool from that like period of your life? Because you're like grabbing all these people in this low scale environments.
There's a lot of cool people. Oh man, like I think Maloney was my second interview.
Oh, nice.
Maloney was my second interview ever. Um, uh, Burns was one Ross Burns. I'm not sure if you're familiar with him. Um, Mr. Burns from Hamilton. He's
He's the guy who interviewed you.
yeah, he had interviewed me on one of our videos. But what was I saying?
You were thinking about people you interviewed back then.
Oh yeah, people back then early. I really don't know like anybody like really kind of stood out. Like there was like a lot of people, like a lot of people. Like I don't want to like just name a couple and like kind of leave some out because like I don't think there's anybody like really kind of like that was like legendary or
Right.
anything. Yeah,
But you were still like putting in this effort of documenting the scene and getting to know all these different people. And how many like what was your frequency of interviews like?
I'd put out an interview like every week
And you've just always been putting out an interview a week, or
for a long time. Yeah, for like um yeah. If you look at like my whole like last 8 years, I probably put out average probably every 2 weeks, 3 weeks maybe like over like 8 years.
yeah, that's a real commitment to it. That's also a lot of people you've talked to. Yeah, shout out Eddie G. All right, so back then, you started at Eddie Gtv. You're performing. You're doing your thing like that. What kind of happens next in your life with that? How do things kind of evolve for you?
I started slowing down on the shows because I was getting a lot of like I could tell like a lot of the rappers around weren't really fans of me, and there was a lot of politics in the shows, and all those politics changed for me when I started doing the interviews. And it was like people were inviting me out to these shows that they wouldn't have me on before, but because I'm an interview nower, I'm an interview guy now. So like the show's kind of slowed up. And I was just kind of like I'm like because um it became so busy like the AG show like the amount like I said like it became a snowball effect. The amount of people that are messaging me, and I was I'd go to some of these shows and like plan before I go. I like talk to like every artist that was on the bill, and I do like 5 interviews at a show.
Yeah, it's big. So you put
Yeah,
in like that work to like. So if somebody reaches out to you, you're gonna then go research the whole show and kind of leverage every other connect that you could make off of that opportunity.
and a lot of times a lot of those shows I just plan to I talk to one artist and like I'd go there to interview him, and like there would be other artists there, so I freestyle a lot of those interviews. I had no idea like I had just met some of those people. Very first time I ever seen them was like I watched their live set. I'd watch their live set and I'd do their interview. I know anything else about them.
So what kind of questions would you ask people? What was like an early Eddie G interview like?
Blunts or bongs, um, food questions. I still have food questions, but like I've made them way better. Um, I would say kind of like the same kind of questions I ask now, just kind of like I've gotten better at crafting the questions.
Right. Man, it's
Same
definitely.
kind of same kind of shit, but like just kind of like wording my shit better.
So like who would be so back then how long were your interviews? Like what do you think is a good interview length?
Back then, because they're at shows, like some of them or some of them would be like 15 minutes, some of them would be like 3. Because
Mm.
being at shows, it was like the environment was um so crazy that like it would be hard to kind of gauge of like how long I was gonna get the interview for.
Yo, that explains like a whole lot of the erratic nature of YouTube fucking interviews from that era. And it's not because it's not just you, it's like
Yeah,
all the yous out there making interviews, doing the same grind, dropping these like 4 minute interviews and in like these loud environments. And I'm like, why is everyone just going to the show like that? And no, as you're like, yo, because I can bang out 5 interviews at one time, my guy. This is
yeah,
called time management.
yeah, yeah. Like that's what it was. Like, man.
That's super cool. So like, do you find like was it easy to interview people? Like were people receptive to it or was it like an like did you find people were kind of awkward about it?
At a certain time, it was really like when I walk into a place, like other artists that had been on the show before, it'd be like, "Oh, shout out Eddie G!" Like they'd be on the mic, like, "Oh, Eddie G's in the building." So then like other artists would look over and be like, "Oh, who's that?" You know. So like it really became like easy for me for a long time.
Yeah, I can see how that works out. So you're able to get
Because
this
like I just walk in and like an artist that had been on the show before, I go to a show where um like one of the artists on the bill is like been on my show before, but I don't know any of their people. I'd usually like interview like the other people because the artists that had been on my show would say, "Oh, yeah, you should get an interview with Eddie G."
yeah, that's definitely a powerful motivating force. So off the jump, people fucked with your interviews, and it
Yeah.
creates a wave. I can understand how that feels a bit. Um, and then I guess how do you evolve it? Like, so you're doing this for a while. What comes next in this story in terms of how you're like building this? Are you playing the YouTube game? Are you doing the website thing, blogs? Like, there's so many things that are out there.
Um. So yeah, right around that time, um just just YouTube. I think my YouTube channel was like at its highest, um, like my at its highest peak it's ever been. I don't think I've ever really got back to that. I've come close lately, but yeah, just YouTube, and just trying to get like bigger interviews. Like I was just kind of like me one of my faults. I think like I've never really been the best at tech guy. A lot of people think I am like good at my tech guy because I do the interviews but I kind of like learned what I had to and kind of like that's one of my faults. I haven't learned kind of like um the next steps like that, you know.
Right.
So like I'm actually like looking into all that now. Like yeah, I want to start a different podcast and I want to start like some other shit, kind of have it on a different platform. Like this I'm learning right here. I'm like this is pretty cool. Like people can like with YouTube it's kind of like it's been around forever. This is kind of some new shit.
Yeah, YouTube is definitely. I don't want to call it like time stamped, but I think it's reached the point where I know what the 20-year-olds are talking about when they're complaining about YouTube changing. And if I feel that way and they feel that way, it means the 50-year-olds are on YouTube and it's over. That's what I learned. But I mean, it's not demonetization. It's not any of that shit. It's like I have a monetized YouTube channel and I got an 8,000 view video by accident. Google blessed me. And it was like $25. I'm like, that's shit. I'm like, what? That's it? And then I'm like, okay. I don't feel like motivated by YouTube like at all.
Right,
Like it's a
right.
good repository. It's a good like thing and yeah, if you have like an album review that you're lucky on, somebody might like go click on it 4 years later, but I mean, YouTube doesn't feel like it's fun is where I got to with YouTube. Whereas I came to Twitch and all of a sudden it's like people are in the chat. So I see you doing Instagram live and I'm like, I don't like the Instagram live chat. Like, it's not like the Twitch chat with the emotes, and it just, I don't know. I don't know how to really describe it. It's like the silliest shit, but enough people agree with me that I know that there's something to the statement that the Instagram live chat is not great. Like, the whole
Right.
vibe of it. It just shit pops up for 4 seconds and disappears, and you're trying to like find a comment, and it's not fun. This is just my old self when I'm on an Instagram
Yeah.
live. I'm trying to participate, whereas Twitch, it's like, I don't know, the chat stays. But it's also, then you go to YouTube, and YouTube Live sucks. And I don't know why YouTube Live sucks, but it does. Can't even explain it.
Yeah.
Facebook Live's all right, but copyright, so fuck Facebook Live.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah,
Which do you think? Yeah. Like I said, I'm in the best tech guy. So you think I should be moving the show
yo, if you
over to
moved it
Twitch?
to Twitch, yo, absolutely monetized. Like, you have a mon, it just becomes a, well, I mean, it takes a minute. Like, I don't know, because with music you can fast track it, but it might take you what, a month, 2 months. You're monetized on Twitch. Now all of a sudden you're doing an interview, people can subscribe, which gives you money. They can throw bits, which is like throwing pennies at the strip club. That's my best way to describe it. So then you get whatever, but legitimately I've made a couple $100 in a lot faster time than I thought I would on Twitch. Like, legitimately. I've had some gracious people, like shout out DJ Crystal Clear, who threw like fucking $40 for no reason one time. I don't know why. Can't explain it, but it happened.
Yeah.
And then you go watch the DJs, and DJs get these hype trains where like a person subscribes or gifts like 5 subscriptions, because I don't know what it is in DJ land, but people throw money. Like, they just throw money.
Yeah.
So they're throwing their money. I guess they can't buy drinks, so they're doing this. And then a hype train starts, and now all of a sudden that person just made $150, $200 on my stream, and I'm like, oh, that's fucking, because like Amazon has tapped into all these like gambling shit. It's like, even the sound it makes when somebody follows me, it's just so pleasing. Okay, like, it's like you want more of it. It's like fucking crazy when you think about it. They have like all these gimmicks built in, but really, it's the live part. To me, Twitch is like a middle ground, and it's really Altspace VR that we should all be fucking with right now. Like, I'm moving already into the VR realms. I'm like, I mean, you want some content that's like translatable across mediums, and I realized that YouTube is video on demand, so it's edited, it's polished, it's the past, it's a higher budget to create, and all the giant high budget YouTube media companies kind of failed, right? Like, they went like, none of them are really doing anything, right? Like, they launch series, then they launch new series, they never get to, like, very few people actually have like success in that world on YouTube. So then I'm like, but Twitch is more subscription based. So like, all you really need to do is find like 100, 200, 500, whatever it is, number of people in to subscribe to you, and you're eating off of fucking.
Yeah. It's like it's back down to like the like your fan base. Like, your fan base is going to turn into this. Like, it might be like less numbers because YouTube, like, been around forever. Like, 50-year-olds watch it, so then like the possibility for reviews on there is
But like,
insane.
it's, views are such a meaningless number to me. Okay, like,
Yeah.
because it's like views meets watch time, right? And then you
Yeah.
realize, yo, they're just one person might click on a video 11 times, but that's only one person, right? And people don't think about it like that. So with Twitch, facts are there are 2 people right now on Facebook, and I see 7 on Twitch. I'm one of them, so 6 on Twitch. That's 8 people definitively from different accounts actively engaged in this piece of content for an extended watch time. Yo, I don't know. That shit changed it all for me. All of a sudden, I'm like, yo, like, I don't have to edit this quite like anything, really. Like, what's the editing? My guy's going to cut out coughs or some bullshit, you know? Like, it's like, it's so chill, and then people like it more. I don't know. This is my experience, especially for what you do, because it's basically talk radio.
Yeah.
And then your cooking shows, dude, you can just do the cooking show unedited. You don't have to do the editing part. You can if you want for YouTube, But you could make like season 3 of Eddie G cooking be like a live experience just for the people that want to watch it.
Mm.
And that's where Twitch got sexy. I'm like, wait, yo, we're gonna go to parks. Let's say I stumble across some Montreal rappers freestyling in a park. Watch how I go live with freestyle in the park stream. Low quality, sounds like ass. Just rappers rapping in a park. That's the future to me.
For sure. For sure. Definitely. It's nothing like being like in the trenches. Like I was saying, like I go to these shows and do like five interviews. Like being in the trenches is like and you meet some of these people and you get like really good bonds with these people. Like you've been to some of these shows together, and like these become like your friends.
Yeah.
All the other rappers and all the kind of like this really becomes like your world. Like if you're really into it.
Yeah. That is definitely being paralleled in my life. Everybody that I'm really connected to, with like one exception, is related to these interviews, because you interview them and then they're like, they like you more.
For sure.
It's just, it happens. It's like, I mean, I don't. Have you had any interviews that went bad? I've not had yet an interview that went like sour on me. Like I've had some awkward ones. They all ended well.
I literally like a lot of those like the show. Like if the interview wasn't going good, I just put the camera down and turn it off, and like stop the interview. Like I'll be like, no, we're not doing this.
So what defines a bad interview to Eddie G?
I don't know. There's a lot. I don't know. Like they point out like one particular like when like people just start being like just idiots, like saying like dumb shit, like especially about like I was never on like I'd never let other people like disrespect other people on the show, because I'm like, yo, like I don't have no problem with that person. So you're not gonna like talk shit about that person on my platform. So
Right.
so a lot of times like when that shit would start, I would cut it off. And then like some people just be too drunk and then just be like just not into it, and I'd be like, dude, like we're not doing this. I don't know.
No, fair enough. I guess let me reframe it like this: you do a lot of interviews with people, and what would be like your tips for what a person being interviewed should bring to the table?
What the artist should bring?
Yeah, like cause how often do like look at it like a prep course for somebody that would come onto your show, and what you would wish that they would know ahead of time on how to approach it?
I'd just say relax and know that we're gonna have a good time. Just relax.
That's a good way to put it. Actually, yo, shit, that is a good way to put it. Second artist relax, boom, everything gets loosey goosey, and they just start talking and shit.
Yeah, relax. Nori said that shit. Yeah, relax. It's true though. Like relax. And like relaxing, like comes to a lot of the shit. Like when like when you're nervous before a show, just take a deep breath. Just relax.
So I have a question then. Why did you start the cooking show? Like, how did you branch into that?
It actually started as a joke. We're like just around drinking. Imagine if I did a cooking show, and then I think like somebody was like, "Oh yeah, okay, yeah, okay," and then, like from there I was like, "What? You don't think I can do a cooking show?" I was like, "Oh, like you don't think I can do it?" So I did the first episode, and then like that's all it was gonna be. Like I was just like, "Oh yeah, you don't think I can do this cooking show? Okay, I'll show you. I'll show you I can do a cooking show." So then like it was like did that first one, and then people started asking me like, well, "When's the next one? When's episode 2?" And people started really bugging me. Like, I get messages about it. Like I get messages about it. I'd be like, "Yo, when's this next episode?" So I was like, "Oh shit, I guess I better do it."
Yeah.
And then from there, like when I did the second episode, it just became more. It was like more people like, "Yo, when's the third episode?" And I was like, okay, well, I guess I'll make this. And then like that's how the first season came about. It's like after maybe like four times going through that, I kind of did like the next up little bit of episodes and kind of wrapped up a season.
Wrapping up a season was like, fuck off, don't ask me for a while.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
pretty much, pretty much.
How did you get inspired for your cooking show? Like what? Because it reminded me of Epic Mealtime. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah.
That was like what I felt, and I don't know if you were like inspired by them or if that's the Eddie G cooking routine or like I don't know how you hit it, but like
Um, a lot of that is like I didn't mind I didn't mind their show. I didn't think it was the greatest, but I didn't think it was like horrible either. I wasn't like huge on it though, but yeah, like a lot of that was just me, how I really am. Like I kind of fuck around. Like I am kind of weird. You know?
I enjoyed that. I was like, you know what? As much as some of that, like, I was watching your poutine, and I'm like,
Yeah.
this is the most atrocious. I got the idea of the poutine. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. And then I thought about your poutine, and I'm like, but I would make it. Like, I don't want to think about it like that, but like, it does look like he put the curd cheese in the fucking grilled cheese. I'm like, how'd I go 33 years and never drop no curd cheese in the fucking grilled cheese in my life? I live in Quebec.
Yeah, a lot of those meals, like I kind of looked at those as like me, like I've always been somebody like I'll have a bunch of different stuff in the fridge, and be like when I make something to eat, I'm like, what can go with what? You
Mm.
know, like when I get drunk and shit like that, I'm like, oh man, if I mix this with this would be fucking boss. Like I'm a true fat boy at heart. So um, making some of those things were just kind of like, yeah, like and like they're like easy meals to make. Like all of them, like they're pretty easy meals to make. And there's not really too much to them, but like it was more about the commentary, right?
My favorite part was when you zoomed in on boiling water. Like, dead ass serious. I was like, this is style. This is funny. Like, cause that was like, who the fuck does that? I mean, I'm like, but no, you did. And just like, like it was some like big step in the whole fucking process. And I'm like, that's an enjoyable moment in this. I didn't actually check everything
Well,
on your
the,
channel,
a
but
lot,
sorry, man.
a lot of it was like I'm just winging it. You know, like a lot of it was just like okay, like like what to film next. You know, like I have to film something right now. Like in this step of the cooking thing, right? Like so it's like okay, think of something on the spot. Okay, do this. It wasn't like I had like shit written down of like okay, when this part comes up, I'm gonna do this. It was just like a lot of those like were like freestyle. I was like they were edited, but like the shit I was saying was freestyle.
That's a good way to approach a cooking show, or just a lot of things I find, especially on YouTube. Or I would
Yeah,
argue now Twitch. This is a great. You're set up for Twitch if you can just freestyle 2 hours. Just boom, 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 boom. Just keep it running.
yeah.
Um. So basically, you were running this interview thing. You were pushing the grind. Do you, like what kinds of marketing tactics and things have you done to push your interviews that you find like super effective?
Um, kind of getting like people that yeah, you interview one rapper on a show, but if you've interviewed like every rapper like that goes to these shows, and like you have like the talk, like people consistently just talk about your interviews. So it's really cool to reach out to like that one person over here or that one person over here. But if you could have a whole crowd of people like like certain like people like that I've interviewed like watch every interview of people like the Hamilton people. I'll support like watch their own if I'm doing an interview with somebody from Hamilton because I've been there so many times. Um, like I always see those same people from Hamilton tuned in. So it's like just like a really I think my biggest strategy of is being true with the people, just like having good connections and just like people will be like, yo, like IDG's been solid since day one. Like I'm gonna fuck with this shit. And it's like one of my biggest biggest things.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for that. We just got a question from Lindell in the Twitch. He's got to know your top 3 foods. And I was like, that seems like a relatively appropriate time to ask.
For sure, for sure. Top three foods. I'd go just because I don't know, I'm missing like it might change up different times, but like right now I like craving sushi. I want to get some sushi. Um, Pizza's always a staple, and then like everybody that knows me, like mac and cheese has always been like this whole gut, like this whole fucking belly, like it's all mac and cheese.
I'll fucks with
That's
it.
why that's why on both seasons, like I do different things on each season, except for the mac and cheese. There's a mac and cheese episode on both seasons.
Right. Honestly, it's fun. Um, I like that you own it. Um, when it comes to like music, did you stop music? Because it seems like somewhere around 2015, your playlist ends, and then there's just other stuff that happen.
Pretty much. Like I still think of raps like when I'm driving around work and I'm like bobbing my head, not kind of like think of a rap. Um, but I haven't really had the motivation for it. Like I know I was telling Molly the other day I was actually thinking about getting back into like beats and kind of like bringing back to like how I originally started the shit because I don't know, but I haven't really been motivated to make music actually. To tell you the truth, yeah. If it comes back, it comes back. Like I still have the love for it. I still um like when I'm doing shit around the house, sometimes I'll spit some bars. Like I'll think of something, but yeah.
So as you're talking to all these different people, do you find yourself being a lot more in tune with where like the trends of music are going?
No. I think I'm lost. Like I'm just I'm just searching around, kind of like hearing the stuff that I like, and or I hear like oh this is really different. I can kind of respect like like a certain sound, you know, if it's not really my shit, but like I can respect it. Like I'll be like I'll have those people on, and I'll just ask them um like because a lot of things like a big thing with my show is like I want you to know how like it is to, like chill with this person. Like I don't really necessarily need to I appreciate like you have a thing with your show. You want people to know the whole story,
Yeah.
right? Like for me, I just want people to know how it is just to chill with this person.
Yeah, I thought that was
You know,
nifty.
like if we're just chilling, we're just having a normal conversation. You know, like we're sitting around having some drinks or whatever. You know, this is the vibe that it is with this person.
So yeah, you're not like so basically it's not so much focused on their careers so much as just who they are. So it's
Pretty
not
much.
necessarily a topic that would become so prevalent within your interview.
Like there is times when I do get into their career, like I don't just be like, oh yeah, just don't talk about it all. I do talk about their music. I do talk about, but I don't want the whole interview to be based on that. I want like that to be part of the interview, but not the whole thing.
Yeah, I empathize heavy with that. I realize people don't necessarily care as much, but not because they don't care, but because that's what most interviews are. Like, I stopped when I was doing album reviews. I stopped watching interviews because I found them boring. Like, I watched interviews and then I realized there's not a lot of people that I do something different with it enough to be like, I want that good shit. It's almost like everyone asked the same questions that they saw that got asked on the last guy's interview, and then it creates like this cycle in, and I don't even mean you or myself or any of the local people who are all like, fuck that, we're gonna do our own
Try
thing.
and avoid that. I try and avoid that.
But like, I'm talking more like a lot of the bigger YouTubers with like 6-figure subs because they've been there for a minute, and the radio show types, and you're like,
Yeah,
man, y'all ask the same shit like every interview. Like even the
yeah,
Breakfast Club's a little better with it, but I'm like, yo, I don't know. I'd rather wait till they get to the Drink Champs or like the Joe Rogan or something, where it's like you're gonna get something a little juicier with it.
For sure, for sure. And shout out to Drink Champs and Joe Rogan because both those podcasts are amazing.
So yeah, who are some of your bigger influences then in the whole interview world?
I would say, like I said, when I first started doing the interviews and Snoop was doing the GGN, like I was a big fan of like Snoop and those interviews because like some of those shits were hilarious. But like Angie Martinez, Sway, um, well, some brain fart right now. Nori, I'm a big fan of Drink Champs. Um, who I've been watching now? Oh, I've been watching the $1 million worth of game. I've been watching that. Yeah, I'm influenced by a lot of people. But I would say like early I watched like Mr. T on Much Music. You know, a lot of
Right.
his interviews early on. Nardwar,
Oh,
Nardwar,
Nardwuar's the goat.
Nardwar's a legend.
The goat.
Like no, there will never be another Nardwar.
Nah,
You know,
he's on Twitch
uh,
now.
is he?
Yo, he's really stepping into his Twitch game. He's like he plays his old videos and shit and does new stuff and has like a whole Friday night Nardwar shit or whatever. I don't know. I know he goes live when I'm live and I'm like, fuck you, Nardwar. I can't compete with you. I want to go on your damn stream, but I'm live. But it's cool to see that. Also, Anthony Fantano made the switch. He's now on Twitch also. Well, he does YouTube still, but like, yo, what people are doing across the board is like filming their raw on Twitch and then putting out the same shit they would have just done on YouTube. So like in an Anthony Fantano video, he listens to the song on Twitch and then speeds it up for YouTube with the fucking shit that he does. Like, you know, like, so
Yeah.
it's cool to see that transition. But what do you think is gonna happen with like live scenes and shit? Do you feel like the live scenes are gonna return to the state that they were in prior to COVID? Was the live scene even popping up by you actually? Like, was it like a good
Um,
situation prior to COVID, or are you like, yeah,
yeah, prior to COVID, because it'd really be seasonal. It'd be like the spring and summer would really be like the big times and yeah, like the year before 2019, yeah, shows were popping. Shows were going pretty good. I went to quite a few. Had a good time.
and do you feel like post COVID that the shows are going to come back? Like you've started doing
It's
it
gonna take
up.
a time. It's gonna take time. It won't happen like overnight. Like some of those shows, um, it's gonna be weird to see like how people react like when or like it's gonna be because there's gonna be quite a few people still wearing masks. They're just gonna feel like a certain way. They're always gonna wear the mask.
Like forever.
And yeah, and then yeah, like this whole thing has just changed the world. Like it's not even just the shows, like how people being like regular life. Like this changed like everything. Like I don't really know the answer to like how this is going to change.
Well, I mean, even for yourself, right? So you've gone from doing in-person interviews with like the camera set up to, you know, like this, just doing it over social media. Like, I watched you
For sure,
banging out.
like this right here has helped like so much. Like doing it over social media. Like man, I've been able to do this right here. You know, fucking had people from New York, Miami, Ohio, like Spain when I was in Spain. You know, like it's crazy. It's just
Yeah.
crazy, like the reach and like the like so like this right here, it's definitely gonna be like from here on out like a part of the show. You know,
Do you feel like you would like be able to blend it with like real life and the internet in the same like how do you like see yourself doing it? Because now you also have to maintain, and this is what I started thinking about. So I make this cipher, and now it's on Twitch and Zoom, but we all want to go do it in real life. But I got audience that doesn't live here, and I'm like, Oh fuck! These are new challenges, and now you're in the same boat almost. Well, not fully in the same boat, but like I don't know. I guess you're not like in that regard the same boat, but like, do you feel like there's a way to bring people to your crib? I guess you could just set it up differently and then stream it to the internet. Like, do you see yourself going in that direction as well?
Well, you can have like two cameras set up. So then,
Right.
like you have one camera doing the live, like right this, and then you have one camera filming it for to edit and stuff like that. Kind of like yeah, you can just do it. Me like with the like the interviews, like I barely ever cut any of my interviews anyway, so it's not even really a big deal for like just to have it up live.
That's dope. Stills. Would you fuck around with virtual reality? Would you like bring the Eddie G room into that universe?
I'd have to like try it out myself and kind of like get more research on it. But like I don't know, I have to figure out like I would just have to figure out my twist to it. I was saying like like even like I'll have to get on Twitch and kind of figure out my twist to how I'm gonna because I always have to do everything different from like I can't do the exact same because like that shit ain't gonna work,
Right.
you know. Like, it has to be different. So like with everything, when I get into Twitch, when I get into um like even doing the lives, like I always kind of like I always have to put my own twist on things, you know. And that right there is the key to like kind of like being around for forever.
That's true, eh? Like, how do you find that? Like, do you find that you evolve yourself over time to make sure that you're able to keep having twists on
For
things?
sure, for sure. I definitely level up all the time. You know, like I definitely like and like I'll have those moments when like I'll just know I'm like, yo, boom, I just leveled up just now. Like in my head, like I'll be like I'll be out somewhere and I'll just be like smiling. People will be like, yo, like why are you smiling? I'm like, yo, 'cause I just leveled up. Like I realize I'm on a level. Like my mind will think of like my mind will just be stronger and just I realize something new that I can do in my new level. I always feel like I'm evolving and leveling up. And like that right there is like I don't know, like realizing that it's such a like it's such a dope feeling. Like yeah, but like for me I think it's like from like I obsess about this shit sometimes and like I think about it a lot. So when I do correct that one thing in my mind, I'm like, oh shit, like you know.
Right. Yeah, I can understand what that's like. Do you find yourself to be like a reader, or how do you like learn about new stuff?
I'm like I watch. I observe. Um, yeah, more of a watcher and I observe.
Fair enough. So like the YouTube videos and the tutorials and the
Yeah.
various things. So what are some of your favorite YouTube channels outside of like the realm of interviews that you're into?
Um, sometimes actually lately when I was a kid I was really into basketball and there's just recently I've been watching a lot of the basketball shit. Um, I watch I watch like other platforms. Like I was saying like recently I've been watching the $1 million worth of game. Like some of their interviews are hilarious. The way they joke on each other, fucking hilarious. Um, I watch like um, animal fights. I watch like crocodiles versus fucking hippos and shit, and I watch like lions and shit. Like fucking, I watch some of that shit.
No, I feel
Yeah,
that. I get fascinated by it because you just
nature videos are like are fucking dope to me. Like man, love that shit.
because it's nature too, right? Like it's not like it's scripted shit, right? It's not like I watched one where it was like fuck, I can't remember the animal, but it was this little tiny fucker taking on like six lions, and you're like, and it wins. You're like, what doesn't win? Like it escapes, which is
Yeah,
winning if you're like not the lions. And I'm like, that's some serious shit. Like you can be on like the edge of your seat watching an animal fight break down because you just want to see how it's gonna end or whatever.
yeah. Like I remember watching like the one video. It was like a lizard running away from these snakes, and they had Snoop doing the commentary.
I've seen that
Snoop
one.
was in the commentary. He's like, "Oh, twist, twist, cuz." And the lizard was running away from these snakes. Fucking hilarious, man. Some of the shit like I even think that'd be a cool thing to do. Do the commentary for uh like animal videos. That
Yeah,
should be like nature videos. That'd be sick.
I definitely think there's a lot of people that would fuck with that, honestly. And you're the kind of guy that would go and find a way to do a twist on it, so that you're not like, just look at Ozzy, man. He saw what Snoop did or whatever and just ran with it, right? Like,
Yeah.
and people fucks with that dude. Like my boss and them talk about, yo, if you get successful in the animal fucking fight video fucking voiceover world, you hit corporate lat. I'm telling you that shit hits my office place and stuff, and I'm like, yo, that's that shit.
Right.
So what?
Right.
So like, what other kinds of contents would you like? Let's say like, boom, all of a sudden it's next year. The Eddie Gtv network is a network and it's bigger. What kind of like shit would you add to the arsenal of things that you were doing to evolve it, like new kinds of content or whatnot?
I think I I'd produce somebody's podcast. Like I'd produce another podcast that I'm not necessarily on. Just kind of produce it. And then yeah, as far as like other content, like I am thinking about doing season 3, cooking with AG. It has been on my mind for a bit. Yeah, I don't know, like to be honest, I've been in a little funk lately. Like I don't know, but I always go through these. Like when I was saying I average probably about like an interview every 3 weeks. Probably because I do like sometimes I'll put out like interviews like every 4 days for a while, and then I'll go through a little slump, and then like kind of like I'll come back. Yeah, so like right now I'm kind of just figuring out I just messaged a couple people and booked a couple new interviews, but yeah, I'm just trying to get like back on my feet because like I'm not I go through slumps like like everybody everybody just sees things from like the from a fan perspective, right? They don't see like the everyday life. So yeah, sometimes I just go through shit, man. People really think because how I am on the show that like every day is like fucking sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I had a temper tantrum at the start of my stream yesterday, and I'm like, I shouldn't have had a temper tantrum on the start of my stream yesterday.
Right? Like we go through shit, man. Like sometimes I'm like fuck like earlier for like Twitch it was saying to put the password in. I was like I had to put that fucking like long ass fucking thing like for it to be like strong enough to go. I was like, yo, like how come none of these shits fucking work?
So that you didn't get hacked, but that's fair.
Yeah, for sure.
No, but for real, like off camera, it's really stressing because then you're also like doing it, and then it takes a while to prep, to edit, to do the fucking uploading, the copy, the fucking even just fucking finding people's links can take longer than I would like sometimes. And
Oh,
it's
for
like,
sure.
then I try to create Facebook events, it takes more time, like then
Yeah.
it's like posting to social media, because if you're not
Are you
posting
are
it's
you even finding like somebody's like you find a dope artist that you want to be on the show, and you ask them and you book it, and then you go to their thing trying to find a good picture to make the flyer, and you're like,
oh
oh fuck.
nah, I don't know why y'all do that. I do this. Can you please send me a picture I can use for the flyer? And with 100% success rate, I just get them to send me a picture. Then I never have to worry about it because they gave me the picture they want to use. And that was it. That was my little hack for that. You sent me a pic, everybody did. And sometimes I get the choice. One person sent me 10 pictures. I'm like, bro, I don't want to have to pick between 10 of your pictures. And my only rule is if you send me one with a suit, that's the pick I'm going to choose.
For sure. For
But
sure.
yeah, and then I sent it. Are you doing this all on your own? Do you have like a team behind you, or is this like a one man operation?
One man.
Yeah, that's a lot of stress. especially
for
for
sure.
like how slow the burn is, because like you discover right quick that like this is a no shade comment, but like you said, people are only kind of interested in the people they know, and then like you put it all out, and then you put the content out, and then people's be like not even curious about the next man one time. I don't know who Junk is, but I learned who Junk is because you talked to him. I don't know. I try to watch a random one here and there. Cause
For sure.
I kind of get that, because like as a person you're like, I don't know who any of these people are, but like it's kind of weird though that we're also like in our local scenes in a place where there's like such a lack of interest in each other, and I get that with numbers, like with
Well,
the
also like with people like the regular person like doesn't watch like as much content as like let's say me or you watch. Like we're in this, so we'll watch more content and watch other people do their shit. But like a lot of people just have like normal family lives and kind of do other shit. They only watch like a certain amount of content like a week. So like that amount of content, they're gonna watch people like they know, right? Like if they're a fan of like your show and they see like you have three different people, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I've seen this guy. He was on the show before," and they seen that they'll probably click that one because like they'll be like, "Oh, like I only have um 40 minutes right now to watch this."
right. I don't know. I feel like Twitch instills a different. I don't know. The YouTube, there's no views. I don't know how to make views go to my YouTube right now. I don't know how to do it because I'm making everyone go to Twitch. So it's like not even helping my case a bit, right? Because I have to promote the Twitch, so I'm not promoting the YouTube. And then we made a clips channel that, it's not really going well there either. So it's like, I mean, here's the thing. Like, I know that like, it's just a matter of time. This, that, the next thing, all the things you're supposed to know. But like, it's really like challenging to make people care about the YouTube. All I can say about the Twitch is people stick around for significant periods of time and do stuff like homework with their kids or cook. They cook to the
For sure.
interviews and stuff, which I'm like, that's cool.
Yeah,
That's
for sure.
but like I
No,
can just say I can relate heavy
I
to how
definitely
it
see it.
can be hard, and you get into those lulls where you don't feel like it's very up and down, very up and down emotionally.
And like I definitely get yeah, like the appeal. Like I'm actually gonna do the research and like really kind of get my channel on Twitch popping because yeah, the whole like people can pay you money like right off the thing, and like it's more of a connection with with the fans, and like I find like a YouTube um and like a lot of stuff on YouTube is like algorithms. If you're not hitting the right like algorithms, like sometimes your channel can just be like dead at times.
Channel's been dead for like 2 years. It's like enough people hit fuck that content on that survey that they ask you, and it's like, oh, honestly, I
Like,
swear, like,
it's like you're connecting right with your people right at the time, people that are fuck with you. And like
I
me with fans, like I realized this too. Um, People like will be fans um, but like sometimes like fans get busy, right? Like and like people like you always gotta find new fans because like people may be a fan of your show, but like let's say that person gets in a relationship, they're spending more time with that person, they're not watching your show. You know, their life has changed. You know, they
mm,
don't have this time of like time like that they were originally watching your show. Like something in their life has changed. So like you always gotta get new fans because like people move on, people change their lives, and they don't really have time for your show anymore sometimes.
so that's where
And, and, and and it's
another.
nothing like it's not like they're hating on you. They're just their life has changed. You know.
No, it's facts. I mean, I do it to creators all the time. I also just get bored of content because you watch it. I'll like binge watch somebody for 18 months and then just be like, you know what? I know that none of your videos are gonna be good again. Like there's like sometimes there's like a lull, or like
For
I'm
sure.
just like I'm done
No, no.
with you. I'm finished. It's over. Um, but the other real benefits of Twitch is the rating element of it. So like when this shit's done, I'm gonna go find somebody on my little list of people I follow and raid them. But the problem is the only people I have to raid are Montreal DJs or DJs I can raid in abundance. Dude, there's like no interview shows. I'm like, where the fuck is everybody? Yo, if I had take my there's this guy we speak English good, so like he's cool. He's in like Ohio or something. So we became friends because again, there's like they're starting to come through. It's not like it's unsaturated, but it's also like really unconnected. So there's this opportunity for like a Twitch network of interviewers to create raid trains. And so a raid is when I take my audience and I invade your channel with my audience, and now my audience is watching your channel.
Oh, that's dope. That's fucking
So it creates a lot more synergization, and we can then link up in Discords and create this Discord ecosystem. Because Discord's a huge part of this shit, is what I learned. Discord is to Twitch what Facebook groups are to Facebook.
okay.
Yeah, it's apparently really important to have one of those group things. So that's what I learned what Discord is, and it's like, yeah, it's this whole other culture. It's a lot more you have to find your fans than anyone's gonna give them to you. But if you can
Yeah,
find your fans, it's dope. It's like it's cooler than having an algorithm. Honestly, everyone makes content for the algorithm, so the content's all trash. Now I have to make dope content that will make people want to stick around, or they're gonna
for
click the
sure.
fuck off because I'm boring or whatever. I mean, they might still, but you know what I'm saying? Like, you have to come
Yeah.
up with a way to like run it, and then all of a sudden your content gets longer and longer than you ever thought it would get because like it's Twitch, so you get incentivized and it is that. Like, this is not the
For sure.
littiest chat. It is what it is. Sometimes the chat's littier, sometimes the chat's more like let them talk. It is how it goes. But I've had things where like people just fucking running, and next thing you know, 4.5 hours has gone by, and you're just like, what the fuck? I was supposed to eat like an hour ago, and I didn't eat. You know, like that kind of shit starts happening, and it's like a whole different vibe. But you do well, 100%.
For
What
sure. For sure.
what was it like?
Yeah.
It sorry, go on.
Yeah. Do you constantly kind of like look at like what like the new things that are going on? Like
Sorry.
do you kind of like look at like constantly like look at the new sites that are going on? When I was younger and like start getting on my internet shit, like I was kind of more on that on the ball on that shit. I'm kind of like looking at what sites are coming up, and getting those accounts and kind of like um just kind of like always being up on the new. And you kind of like
Yeah, kind of.
watch out for that.
That's why I keep pushing VR, because I think that it's kind of like the next. That's the new. Like, this is the last Windows, right? There's not gonna be another Windows like the way we know Windows. It's the end. It's not. Safari is gonna. I think it's Safari for the Macs. Whatever. That what's gonna come
Yeah,
next is these mobile looking interfaces that are gonna also be in VR land, and like AR hybrids, because they're also working on that. So why it's not gonna be like screens and shit. 5G allows for a lot of devices. What I mean by a lot of devices, I mean like, let's say you have one camera, now you can have like 12 cameras and the same internet. So like what they're gonna have is what I've seen predictions for, at least, is deviceless futures. It's all motion, like there's some crazy shit coming. But I look at it like virtual reality is definitely gonna become dope. Yo, like I got like little chest muscles coming through on some virtual reality boxing on some weight loss shit. Like, now all of a sudden cardio matters to play Skyrim. Like, I haven't played Skyrim, but I played games like Skyrim a little bit, shitty Skyrims, and I'm like, yo,
yeah,
cardio's gonna matter in the future of video games. But then I realized like
that's crazy. That's dope.
when you
That's a
get
good
to
thing.
like the music side of it, I don't really know how to do it comfortably. As in, I probably might need to buy one of those fucking pop star mics, honestly, to do this right. Because it's not going to be no fucking mic hand shit with a fucking VR remote. And it's going to be weird. But, like,
Yeah,
logistically, if I can find a setup I'm super comfortable with, it's literally just performing in your room in a different fucking setup. So in the same kind of vein, and honestly, I've been kind of neglecting that whole side of life. I'm like, why the fuck haven't I rapped at Twitch yet? Like, what a waste. I've been so caught up on writing music. I haven't performed shit. But like the whole future to me is like a hybrid. It's all hybrids to me. So it's gonna be like you can go into the VR clubhouse, right? And Outspace VR, it's like, did you ever do Habbo Hotel or any of these shits back in the day? Or so like picture like a space. What I mean by a space, like literally a virtual room with avatars in it, right? Like a video game with a bunch of avatars in it. Only we're the avatars. And it looks shitty right now. But on there, you could look up and see what the fuck a Twitch would be broadcasting. So, like, that would be the more intermediary state. So, I could still do my shit. Only now it's to, like, the avatar crowd on top of the Twitch, on top of this. So, it's like a whole other platform. Because I went to, literally, like, Saturday, this park jam held by some dude, I forgot his name, Focky, Fokki or whatever, and then Echo G, these rappers in New York. They had Sadat X involved. They had I met Grandmaster Kaz and gave him a virtual fucking fist bump in the middle of this thing, right? So I'm like, but bro, we did a fist bump, right? Like, so I'm sitting there, and then I'm watching the DJ spin, and I'm like, no, this is not as lame as it was last year. It was lamer last year. This is... And they cleaned up the graphics enough so that it's not quite as fucking corny. It's still corny. But I have a suit now. It's fucking lit. I liked it. Like, you know, like I was sitting there. But it was more like... What's really blessed about... I don't even care. This is just a pitch for Outspace VR. But the app that they're using, this one, you don't need VR. You can just do it on your computer if you don't have VR. So, like, people can still, like, start the ecosystem. So that, like, when VR gets the ball rolling, it's like, fuck Twitch. Let's go over there. It's like YouTube 2007. That's, so, like, to me, that would be, like, the next site. It's not so much about the site. It's, like, it's the end of video and the beginning of live engagement. You see it with, like, TikTok. TikTok turned into a live app. Like, it's not really about the TikToks anymore. It's about going live with your favorite hot girl or whatever. I don't know what TikTok saw me get into the booty videos, and it doesn't give me a lot of choices but booty videos, and I'm like, I kind of like it. TikTok's fun.
Yeah, definitely. Like the new sites, like for like I remember like one day on Instagram, I was like, yo, like where'd all my booty shaking like videos go? And I was scrolling through my feed, and I was like, man, they took down all these videos. Like, man, I used to have like so many accounts that I'd follow that had all my booty shaking shit. So I just go through Instagram and just see it, right? Yeah, I gotta keep on my different sites. I gotta like, you know, my sites that allow my booty shaking.
Yeah. OnlyFans probably really like fucked you over actually more than anything else there, because yeah, it changed the like scope of that world a lot. But I just think live interactive, like, yo, in virtual reality land, we can create festivals with like 1/10 of the budget. You just need a couple of coders who know how to use Unity.
Yeah, no.
And that, like,
yes.
But it creates accessibility. So you have the virtual setup, streaming. So the virtual setup would be where like the chat is, but you're actually in person in the future doing shit, streaming that in-person shit to the chat shit. So
yeah,
it's
that's
like,
crazy.
yo, somebody even pitched it as far as, imagine a live event, like a regular rap show, where you have the real life crowd and then the Zoom calls on a fucking projector on the back of the stage. Like, you know, like, that's that. Like, why not? Like,
right? No, for sure.
That's where we're at with it all to me. So it's more like, how can you leverage tech to create experiences that do things other people aren't doing? Or, like, you know, basically, I think we're going to hit a point where there are going to be a lot less people who achieve like that, like millionaire status, but a lot more people could make $75K a year off their shit. That's where I see
Yeah,
this going, because like it's like small scale. A lot of small scale can work, but like none of us are gonna be like fucking heroes in this shit kind of thing.
yeah. I'm definitely getting motivated by all this stuff. I'm gonna get out of my dinosaur ways. I'll move on from YouTube. I'll still put it on YouTube.
Yeah,
Like,
YouTube is necessary for a while. Like you have to put it
yeah,
on
yeah.
YouTube.
But like, I'm gonna put it on more platforms than just YouTube.
But yeah, it's more like focus on the live. The live is really what like I jumped onto your lives a few times. You're on Instagram, so it's like my phone is often somewhere not even. I'm barely on my phone no more, which is bad for the Instagram live people. That's what's happened to
But
me.
yeah, it's probably great for your life. Like like
No,
just
I'm in front of computers. But
literally
yeah,
like I was saying I've just been going through like a thing, and like just like this week or like I went 2 days I didn't even go on the internet. I didn't go on Facebook. I didn't go on. I was like, you know what? Like I'm gonna just not go on the internet for these 2 days. And just like it's definitely it's a great thing. It's a great thing to kind of just clear yourself sometimes.
yeah, I don't know how to do that because
You're like, wow, that's crazy. Huh?
and I mean it more like I've not created this like schedule that I'm running. I'll be honest, like sometimes it's like a lot, and I'm like, what the fuck have I agreed to myself, you know? And you
Yo,
get
I
caught.
I I I have all people like 100%. Like I understand that the shit like I remember like the first time I did like an interview every Monday for like an entire year. So like so when I started the year, this was 2014. So when I started the year, I had a bunch of interviews early. So I was putting out Monday, and I'd also put out a Monday interview like on Wednesday. I put an interview on Friday, but I was committed to every Monday, right? So I was putting out all these interviews, and then it became later on in the year, and I was kind of like, man, this is getting exhausting. Like exactly the same thing you just said. Like what have I agreed to upon to myself like and but I was like I had to do it, but I was looking back, I was like, man, earlier in the year, I wish I didn't put out all those interviews like
Yo,
so much because I would have had so much content to kind of finish off the year.
or
So like
like
I was at the point where I was like, oh man, I'm going through this. Like I'm like, what have I really agreed to? And like I pushed through, I got enough interviews to close the year, and I did it. And I was like, whew, I did it. Like I was like, what did I agree to?
but that's the only thing with Twitch is it's kind of like so now like Monday's an interview night, Tuesday's the
Yeah,
cipher, Wednesday's another interview, Thursday's a wild card. We never know what happens on the Thursdays. Um, Friday is another wild card. Saturday's an interview. Sundays I should probably stream, but I don't always know why. But then it's like all of a sudden, like I went on vacation from work the last 2 weeks. I have to go back tomorrow, unfortunately. But like, I was like, shit, I can't like really go like do anything wild or anything because I gotta go live like fucking 8, 9 times or 10 times across the shit, and then it's like, it's not like unrewarding, and it's not something I feel isn't worth doing or pursuing, but like you inevitably feel like this sense of trappedness, especially when the progress goes way slower than you were hoping for,
yeah,
because the
I,
progress is always going
yeah,
to go slower than you were hoping for.
for sure, for sure. No, I definitely hear that too. Yeah, just doing them consistently and yeah, it's like even like I've been out to shows like when like people come out to shows with me and like they want to drink and have a good time with me, right? Me, like I'm running around interviewing 5 people. Like I'm
Shit, I can't
not
even go
enjoying the
have
show with
fun at
people.
shows. If I go to shows in the future, like, even if I'm performing the rest of the night, I gotta be trying to book an interview or doing a thing or like
Yeah,
I'm always gonna have to watch my P's and Q's now for the rest of my fucking life. I said one dumb Facebook post and I got all kinds of little I learned my lesson this happening. And I'm like, okay, so now I have to like smile at the whole I can't even like I have to love everybody now. forever.
Oh man, yo, like everybody thinks everybody loves you, and you should love them, and you should do this because you have this platform, and they shouldn't have to do anything for you. And man, it's like it's a wild game. Like artists expect a lot of like um like like interview people. It's like you want me to share your music video, but like when our interview came out, you didn't even share our interview.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It,
I don't know. I don't even know how to like answer it because like shit. Like, am I share? Then I'm like, I start asking myself, do I share enough? Like, it's such a weird thing. Like, I don't know like what the obligation is, but I look at it like the main thing that's different is the whole interview is a promotional tool for the fucking artist.
for
Like,
sure.
why would you not share that?
Yeah,
Like, that's the part that's baffling to me. Now, I can acknowledge that in some cases I have not made the best efforts to communicate, but now I DM like everybody and I go, yo, just thanks for coming through the interviews on YouTube type thing.
for sure, for sure. Like simple communication, like like this whole like internet like phase, like or not phase, but like how things are nowadays. Like so many people that have got comfortable with just not communicating with people, like just like the whole ghosting thing.
Yeah,
Like, oh man, like if I don't feel, if I don't want to like say thanks, like to somebody, like I just won't message them, like or again,
yeah,
and like the whole communication thing too. Like another thing is like, I don't like how people don't answer their phones no more.
yo, I totally don't. I'm guilty of that shit. You know,
You're guilty of that?
well, here's what happens. If it's something like if you're gonna leave me something that's really important enough to leave me a voicemail, like especially like if you call me out of nowhere, like why is who? Frankly, your number is not even gonna show up in my phone, right? So I don't know you.
Right. No, I'm saying like people that
Mm. But then
like
nobody has my phone number. Is really what happened. So what happens
okay,
is I get video calls now, or we do Zooms. But
yeah,
like I don't know, like the phone. Nobody has my like. I got weirded out giving out my phone number along the way, and then like Facebook Messenger. It seemed like ways to divert people from having your number. Like somebody put my number on a site, like it showed up in a mail for mail escort site. Like as in my number was the ad. So for something like 3 or 4 years, I would receive phone numbers from people or text messages asking me my rates and shit. And I mean, it was really weird, but it was like, dude, you dug deep to find this 4-year-old ad type thing. That's when it got kind of weird with it. But like, so I got like hesitant to like give out my number or like, yo, then all of a sudden, as of like what 2018, when all of our fucking data got stolen and all of our numbers got out there, like what I get like 10% of my phone calls are legitimate. Okay, like 10% of the times my phone rings, it's actually for me. If otherwise, it's some fucking company that I tried to get a white paper for calling me, or it's a fucking robo scam caller. So it's like nobody calls me
okay.
enough to make me want
Well,
to actually check my phone, except for people that I don't want to talk to.
like for me, yeah, let's say I'm planning something with somebody, you know, or planning out and doing something, and I want to say it's like one of my friends I hang out with all the time, and we're planning something out, and so I have a lot to say, like I want to like type for forever and say a bunch of things. I want to call my friend and say, hey, blah, blah, blah. And get that part of the conversation done. It's way more clear like between us. So we hear each other's voices. We like saying okay and saying and like typing okay and saying okay can like come across like two different things, right?
Facts. Yeah, that's why we
So
just do the calls
just
though.
yeah, just but yeah, how people communicate, like like uh like there'll be people that I want to talk to about like that, and I'll call them and like they'll just be like, oh, text me. It's like, yo, I don't want to text this whole fucking big thing.
That's where I mean, here's the thing. I got the keyboard, right? So with the keyboard, yo, you can text the whole big thing. And it takes like,
Yeah.
dude, my typing speed is fast. So like, I don't have
Okay.
that problem for myself. Although on a phone, you can tell I'm on a phone because, bro, I'm typing slow. It's not paragraphs. It's like I'm using normal people like levels of like 5-word answers type shit. Um, but like, yo, I'm in front of the computer all day. I got my like fucking setup and everything. The keyboard's there, so it's like I run these chats, and then what ends up happening is it's like, yo, I can literally have like full on chat business meetings while in meetings at work. Not that I do this often, but y'all do it too, corporate. Everybody out there does this shit. So like you just, a little sidebar chat comes up, yo, let me get that, or yo, answer this right quick, whatever, whatever. And then like you just kind of get into this multitask mode where like if I'm gonna talk to you on the phone, it's gonna be like this, right? And I'm not good at short phone calls. Like, bro, you'll tell me you have to go, and I swear we'll still be on the phone in 15 minutes. And it'll be like the dude, I'll fucking kill you level of I have to go is when I'm like, okay, okay, fine. Like, I'm just annoying like that, I guess, or whatever. But I love the phone call. But then it's like, when the fuck do I really have the time for it? Like, to really do it. So, like, well, I guess that's where the Zooms and shit came in. So, yeah, like there was the, basically that's what Bonnie, my girlfriend, just popped up. It was the beginning of our relationship was her trying to get off the phone with me and me keeping her up at night. So just keeping her on. But then I realized people still called me through Messenger, and the video chat came in, and I'm like, bro, the video chat's the best. This is the best. This is better than a phone call because I can see your face.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And then it's like, well, why don't we video chat? Like, why am I gonna call you when I can see you? It's like closer to Star Trek and shit. So like,
For sure.
I would say that this is probably, people don't do the calls on your Messenger or your Instagram calls. You don't get
Oh yeah.
those.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, the regular phone. I don't know. I guess it just got phased out. Like, why do you need my number? Like,
Oh, for sure. But I was saying like the whole communication thing. Like
mm,
yes, like the FaceTime is like is phenomenal. But like people would like say like oh like they don't want to talk. They send a text. It's like okay, like can't really communicate like the face to face shit, like the Zooms, like we can have a
okay,
face to face conversation and we can have like exactly what we're talking about on the phone.
I
But with
moved in with my girlfriend.
this with the text, it's like okay,
That's what
whatever.
changed though. I moved in with my girlfriend. I had to think about it differently. Before I moved in with my girlfriend, bro, like I had a lot more like all that free time when you're like bored, like that doesn't exist when you live with her and you're on the grind. It's more like when you finally get to that point where like maybe I would call up at Eddie G, that's Netflix time now. So now I gotta chat with you. I don't have that like same flexibility to be able to like, cause yo, you get off the call at like whatever 9:30, 10. What yo, you can't then go like jump on the next call type thing. So we gotta chat now too. Like, I guess that would be what happened is I realized that anytime I'm in a relationship like that, I don't talk to as many other people like that. But ever since I moved in with her, it's like it changed because like yo, we're there every day and we hang out and we like each other enough to like hang out and shit. And that fucked up my phone call life. I barely. Then also it's like we don't have no house and shit. So if we're on a call and I get like fucking loud and she's gonna hear everything, and I'm like, nah, it's all fucking weird. Let's just chat. Okay, let's just do the chatting thing unless we gotta like do the call thing.
For
That
sure.
changed for me actually the more I thought about it. I don't know how many of your boys moved in with their girls, but that may have happened.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
um,
Yeah. So yeah.
no, sorry. So what else do you do with your life? What are other passions and hobbies of the Eddie G? Like, if you were like to project into the future, what are some other things you would like to accomplish? Dang.
Yeah, so I actually like to try stand up comedy. And like I was thinking that for a while back. And another thing that motivated me recently is so at work for April Fools, we do this thing where like me and my supervisor we switch vests. The supervisors all wear the red vest, although all normal workers wear the orange. So we switched vests, and I walked out with all his papers and stuff like that, I did our pre-shift. I told everybody what everybody was doing, like the normal supervisor shit, right? So like, it was kind of like an April Fool's, kind of like I was like, oh, yo, Eddie G's the new supervisor at work, right? And everybody loved it. They're all like laughing because I was saying funny shit. And like I twisted, I put my own twist on the pre-shift, right? And I said some funny shit, and everybody loved it. And then the other day, one of the supervisors had asked me if I wanted to do read one of the things to like the whole group, because our pre-shifts are probably there's maybe 40 people there, 50 people there. So then each time I've done these pre-shows, like I've had people laugh. And and I remember when we were still doing shows, the last show I actually did, I was hosting, and the DJ hadn't got his shit right. So I was hosting, so I was like, there was no music playing, everybody's just standing around. So I just started talking to the crowd, and I made a couple people laugh, and I was like, yo, maybe I can do this like comedy shit. Like I always like trying new shit. So I think like stand up comedy might be something that I want to add on to the whole repertoire.
Yeah, definitely fascinating stuffs, man. I think you're a versatile person. I feel like your commitment to everything that you've done over the last decade plus, almost like you've just been pushing it since you were a teenager. It's like it's really noteworthy. You want to get back into beats soon. You want to get into stand-up comedy, cooking show, interviews. There's a whole lot of things you have going on as you just kind of evolve yourself. Plus, a one-man operation. But would you consider looking for people to work with? Have you worked with other people in the past on different projects to like grow it? Like, do you want to stay a
Um,
one-man operation?
no, I like to build a team, but it's hard to get the right people. Like I've worked with people and it's not worked out, and like I worked with friends and then we're no longer friends
Right.
because like shit just didn't work out with like all the working out, and things just got weird. Um, and I really like kind of like tested people sometimes of like people that say that they want to work together, and I'd invite them out to something, like, to something that I actually know like by myself I can do everything I need to do, but if this person comes out and helps, it's gonna be so much easier, right? But like I've had so many people just flake on things that I'd make sure that I was still able to do the things right. So I invite these people out and then they'd flake, and I'd be like, okay, I guess I'm not working with that person. Like just simple things like come out to like people say that they want to work together. Okay, come out and do this, and they wouldn't show up. So I was like, all right. So I've always had a hard time just finding the right people to work with. Yeah, I've always wanted to build a team, like from day one.
Yeah, it's definitely not a simple thing. And then finding finding the right
And
kinds of
sometimes it works out
complementary
for
people.
and sometimes it works out for a little bit, and things go great for a little bit, and then they just turn. Right?
Yeah, because it's a matter of like this is your baby. This is your
Yeah,
like vision. You're trying to do this whole
for sure.
thing, and everyone else is there to build the vision, in a sense. So it
Right.
gets more complicated, especially like yo. I could tell you this is not one of those things that having money would fix. Money would make it easier to find people per se, but paying salaries doesn't necessarily make people share your vision or
Right.
prioritize you correctly. Or and this is no shade to Chris or anything. Just in case people don't think it like that. But I'm just saying I mean I manage shit at my day job, so I've seen that like money isn't a motivator quite the same way as like people who are like minded or something more into the fact of like people stay at, like like that idea that people work for good managers, not so much for salaries and shit, has a lot more truth to it than a lot of people may know. So
For sure.
I find that hard. I find it hard to get people to see the visions or to like,
No, for real, it's hard.
take this Twitch shit, man. Like I've been telling everybody to go on Twitch, telling everyone the same speech. You can see it probably like what I've done it in like 50 interviews. Not a lot of people move to Twitch, and I'm like, and then you see the Facebook lives go, and you know that they're just on Facebook. You know that they're not on Twitch and everything else too. So you see all this shit happening, and it's like, but then everyone wants to go in the direction they also all want to go in. So am I right? Am I the one with the? I'm not arrogant enough to think that like I'm the fucking guy with all the solutions, right? So maybe I'm even wrong. This is just the path I think makes the most sense. So it's like that's what we're all doing. And now everybody's a hustler with their own show. Interview shows are popping up everywhere. You're like, oh, this is where we at now. It's very shout out Ismail. Ismail's a real one. This dude, like, he's the realest fan. Those are the best. Everybody wants Ismails. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Sure.
I'm just watching this competition get like heavy with saturation, and I'm like, man, how do you get like 30 people to agree to pick the same path? That's the challenge I'm facing, that you're facing, that we're all freaking facing.
Right, because like a lot of these people that make it big, like they have like a team. They have a team behind them. Like man, like you don't see people like make it to a certain level without people being behind them, right?
But like, here's an example of how team can manifest. So there's this thing in Montreal, Geektastic. It's like a collaboration of podcasts. It's not even just Montreal. They're just a collaboration of like-minded podcasts. So like, let's say you, me, all the different Canadian. Let's just go with Canadian for the sake of it. Like guys like us that just go after people and talk to them. We all go on Twitch. We all link up. We all create a team. We all squad up. Maybe you still have to run all your shit, but at least now your ads and that's not ads, but like the promotional marketing side of it gets easier. There's a invested group of people who are all now behind like a different banner almost pushing that, which then attracts those resources that we all need that nobody's jumping in on our web traffic. But the combined web traffic would be more traffic. Like that's the kind of way I see this shit really happening.
Shout out to the Down to Earth podcast. He was saying he wants to, and I'd be willing to do this with you too as well. He was saying like we should double team interviews, like two interviewers like connect that have different platforms, interview somebody together.
Yeah, that has a lot of potential, especially on something like Twitch, where like the collaborations are like simpler. But that's where it is. If we're all on the same platform, then I jump on your Twitch, let's say, and you jump on my Twitch. Yo, it's fucking huge. Like we synergize it in this live environment kind of thing. But then we also could just have video game day.
Yeah.
Where we all just hang out and don't interview people.
Right.
But like that kind of community means that like that's the kind of shit really where it needs to happen. It's like at a creator level, when you look at the successful communities, like I'm fascinated by that phenomenon on YouTube. How like 15 to 50 creators in a given community team up and become the middle class. And that's the real bread and butter of it. It's not the top guys and it's not the bottom faders. It's that middle class tier, and every successful scene has this middle class tier. They're not like famous. Sure. They all probably still work, but they're doing it in a bigger way. They're the cool kids almost of their community.
For sure. Like I definitely feel like I'm a middle class interviewer. Like I have my regular job, and like it's like two different worlds too, right?
I meant it more like not necessarily like literally middle class, but more like in the scope of like there's the beginning creators, and then like just in that context. So yeah, I definitely would say that.
Yeah, I definitely hear that. Yeah, it's definitely like being in that class, like going to work and being like I'm talking to you like you're a regular worker, and then like and then going to a show and walking in there, and people are like, "Oh my God, it's Eddie G!" Like, or
Oh, it's such a fucking weird thing.
it's like a whole different, like it's completely different worlds, and it's crazy. Um, but yeah, like the whole like working together thing, I think, and like bring the networks together. I think that would be a great thing. Um, just collabos, right? Like when artists do collabos together, it brings the fans together, right?
Yeah, that's true. Shows are basically a great. That's how it works. Collectives, though, so I'm big on collectives. Like on the
Yeah,
music side of my life, this whole like cipher thing is kind of I'm trying to drive that towards this collective. We started talking about like ideas for like how we could work together over the summer to leverage real life. Yo, the curfew's ending, dude. Apparently, I don't know if they changed the news. Please don't crush my soul on stream. Crush it after if they change the news. But on Friday, we get to go outside at past 9:30 for the first time since December.
yeah, that's crazy. Like, we don't even have a curfew here.
Yeah, but y'all got weird shit. I heard you went into like full
Yeah,
lockdown where your like stores are closed and shit again. So like,
yeah.
I don't know. I'm okay with
It's
open
fucked.
stores. That's weird. I don't know, man.
Yeah, like me, yeah, like I'd rather just stay in at night and be able to go to the store, you know? Like how are socks not like how are socks and boxers not essential?
Because of Amazon. That's my answer to everybody. That's their answer. Like, I mean, there's very few times in my life I've ever needed a pair of boxers in less than 48 hours.
Yeah,
In
true.
my life, it's like that was my only like response to that circle. And like, bro, do you really need the gloves? Like, I saw a post about gloves. Like, did you really need them? No, you have this weird ass unique circumstance you ranted about on Facebook that is just you. And Amazon could have still probably solved the problem if like like that's kind of why I think gloves and boxers and certain items are being declared non-essential is because they're
Yeah, you can
accessible.
short yeah, you can short my line.
But like I don't know that that's the right choice. I don't want to defend it. It's just that was my answer the whole year. I'm like, yo, I've been buying my boxers on Amazon pre-COVID. I found this one brand I liked. It's better priced than Walmart in them. I'm like, fuck that. It was like a step up to better boxers at a good price. So I've been doing that for a minute.
Yeah, like you peasants fucking still arguing with those shitty boxers? Like I got these fucking really ones. They fucking hold my nuts tight.
But like, I
Mhm.
don't know. But I get it though. Like, it's fucking weird. Or to me, it was like, how is weed? Okay, I mean, I'm not hating it, but how is weed and alcohol like mad essential? Though? Oh, in Quebec, because the government selling it.
Right?
So it's like you see weird. There's so many weird things with the rules, but yeah, I'm just real excited. But now that it's ending, it's like I feel like going to a park at like 8:30 sounds like a good idea, knowing I can go for a couple of hours and it doesn't sound shitty.
Yeah,
But then it gives us a lot of potential there. But in the podcast, like this side of it, it's like, okay, I don't have a whole lot of interviewer friends these days. I'm like, yeah, I don't see where we're going with that. I don't see that. I still like don't even know. I know there's a whole bunch of because you said in this interview, you said there's a bunch of English interviewers in Montreal in 2014 or 15, and I'm like, there were? Where are they at? And I know there's a few here now, and there are a few here now. I don't want to shit on anybody, but like, yo, we don't have like this organized network of Anglo media, and that's weird to me. There's enough of us here that we should be doing it. But yeah, sorry, I just reading a comment on his. Ismail was saying some people still go outside after 9:30, even though there's a curfew, which is true. Some people are still outside. One person went live outside breaking curfew. I'm like, yo, we're live. Like the first question was, why are you breaking curfew? And it was like, fuck me. I'm like, that's a great question. Why? And then that is what it was. But yeah. So there's network of things, and then also just having fun. Like there has to be a way to like make it like a fun community side to it, right? Like what outside of interviews can we do to like attract people? Like rappers play basketball. and they do all kinds of shit that isn't like they go undercover on Reddit. You know, like all this shit. You know, like that's the other side of it. We need more like group fun shit of like everybody's favorite interviewer person. Like talk to the mic. Get that dude involved. People know who talk to the mic is. Just like find all these people, bring them in, and like do some weird group interviewer shit. It sounds like
Yeah,
some.
we should do like a group chat with like all interviewers.
Yeah.
I think that's what you're kind of getting at. Like I think
Well,
it'd be dope to have like kind of like me, you, um, uh, Sean Meyer from the Down to Earth podcast, get a couple other people that do other podcasts, get, get you know, get Maloney from the Breaking Records,
yeah.
you know,
Just get everybody that we think. I mean, I'm just kind of brainstorming because we're at that part of the interview for me where I'm like, I mean, let's talk about marketing. Shit, how do we grow as interviewers? Let's just do it live. I'm really into that. Because
for sure.
everyone else is
And
having that.
I actually find like these kind of conversations like people really appreciate too because just learning different things, you know, like like me I love learning, so like if I can listen to people brainstorm, you know, like man, I'll listen to that for sure.
Yeah. And so like that's how I feel about it. There's a lot of potential with the idea. I don't know anything finite. Then we'd all have to agree on times and whatever. Basically, if we could pull off the right core group of people and you create that collective, then all of a sudden somebody's got a designer on deck and somebody's got a this on deck, and it kind of creates the team. You know, and
For sure.
that's what I've learned recently is that's how a team gets. It's socializing with your peers and sharing common goals. Like we all want to make more than 100 views on a fucking video for a good video. That's our all go. You know, like I peeped all of our YouTubes and I'm like, oh, it wasn't like except for breaking records, they're fucking smashing shit out the park. Like they're doing
For sure.
fucking really great. No shade to them, and I'm sure some of the others are doing whatever they're doing. But I'm like, yo, it'd be real cool if we were getting like 30,000 fucking views of interest across each of it because people were just like, boom, boom, boom. Oh, Ismail just dropped a good question. Why did you go with Instagram over other platforms to start your lives?
Um, well, with Facebook, I think it was just I I think me and Maloney had done talks about I think we did a podcast, no content podcast on Instagram. It was his idea to do the Instagram, and then from there I'm like seeing how we just take it off there and kind of put it on YouTube, and I think it was kind of okay from there I chose Instagram. I think we just did the no content podcast on there a couple times.
So what is the no? You did the no content podcast with him.
Yeah.
I don't think we talked about that really. I know it exists, but what is the
Yeah.
no content podcast?
So he originally asked me to be part of the Breaking Records, and we both have an interview show, and like I said, like Eddie Gtv is my baby, and I was like I didn't want to kind of just leave Eddie Gtv and kind of like go with Breaking Records, so like but I told him I'm like I don't want us to do that, but I want to do something together, and he agreed, and we're like okay, we'll figure out something, and then maybe a month later or something like that, I had messaged him back and was like, "Hey, like, you want to do a podcast together?" And then we kind of like went through names, and we kind of like then we figured out like, yeah, the No Content podcast was like when we heard that we're like, "Yep, ooh, baby, I like it, raw." So like, we're talking about crazy shit, right? And so we went with that. Then we started doing episodes, and then we done 78 or 77 episodes of that, and when we got together and we would have great times, and we just like talk about wild shit, and seeing the episodes grow and seeing like the chemistry grow, like from episodes 1 to 10, how different they were from there to 11 to 20, like and how like it was definitely like it's one of my favorite things I've done in this whole entertainment thing was the No Condom podcast. Like we had some like fucking funny ass moments, and like we get really fucked up sometimes. Like we would like cause we do like 3 episodes in one night. So you can tell like by like the last episode we're just fucking hammered like and just talking wild shit, right? Like it was a great time.
Fair enough. That's dope, though. I look forward to seeing what you do next with all of this, man. I mean, there's so much potential with this internet game. I'm gonna follow up with you on that. Like, let's get all the interviews together thing. That could be really powerful for all of us.
I,
But yeah,
I actually started Twitch today. It's Boom Eddie Gtv.
and you followed me 11 hours ago, according to my notifications. Shout out
Yeah.
Eddie G. But you know what we can do then? Yo, all of you should follow him. Let me do that part where I can do that thing, right? Give me a second.
Awesome.
How do I copy this shit? Boom, copied. Then I have a little command thing where you hit the shout out and then type it in, and now it told everybody to go follow you. Now, so there's just a lot of cool things with that, but I don't know if y'all have any questions for Mr. Eddie G. Well, while they type it up and there's a delay. It was definitely a pleasure, like really getting to know you better and seeing like your grind and all the different things with it. Just how much you've dabbled in and how consistent you've pushed your whole career forward to the point where now you've got your merch and you're seeing people all over rocking these Eddie G shirts everywhere, which you can cop and you can hit them up on Instagram to buy some Eddie G shit.
For sure.
Like it's dope just to see you get to that point, and it's just it's cool to see that you're gonna keep going with it and that you're just so open about not just everything you've done, but even some of the challenges that come along with it. So to me, this is a great conversation to have. Honestly, I appreciate it a
For,
lot.
for
Um,
sure. Like for me, like it's the love for like the entertainment. You kind of like just like I always said like making people smile is a drug.
mm,
Like and I'm hooked on that. Like man, like if I can walk in the room and say something funny, or somebody says, "Oh man, I really loved your interview," or I really enjoyed this, like man, and bring joy to people's lives is like a fucking like the biggest thing. Like it's bigger than getting a bunch of views or getting a bunch of money or anything like that. Knowing you have an impact on people's lives and you made them laugh or you made them feel like just good about themselves, you know, by telling these stories like of not being perfect, just being, it's a beautiful thing.
I agree with that. I mean, I just think I think it's crazy when I finish an interview and somebody's like, "That was the best interview I ever had," and I'm like, "What? Like, how is that even possible?" You know, like to me, it's baffling. But just to think that, like, even just having sometimes just letting somebody say, like, "You want to interview me?" Wow, and just even having that impact is like powerful.
For sure. That right there is, yeah.
But it was great to have you. But also it wasn't just great to have you, Mr. Eddie G. It was great to have all of you watching, because again, I'm into
For
that
sure.
whole
Shout out to
show side
everybody
of it.
watching.
I appreciate all of you for being here for real. Thanks to all of you watching in the future as well, because you're also very special. Make sure to like,
Um,
subscribe, follow, all that crap that you do in the end of videos. Make sure to leave some comments and all that good stuff as well. And special thanks to the patrons. Is Milk and Amsey, Chris Potter, Jonathan Barnes, Teacher Black, Hurricane, Vendel Williams, and Scribble. They're dope. They support what we do. Patreon.com/behind that Sue would be real nice of you and all that good shit. On that note, everybody, it was wonderful to have you. It was wonderful to have you, Mr. Eddie G. Do you have any last words before we depart?
I should just say.
Fair enough, man. Live long and prosper, everybody.